morning, good evening, good night. Maybe you're tucking in the kids to go to sleep in Japan right now, wherever you're watching in the world. I hope that you're having a good time and that you have some long positions in crypto right now, because we are seeing some really good upside in not only Bitcoin, but also a decent amount of cryptos. We're going to get into it today. We've got some big news about XRP, and we're going to take a look at its chart that is moving quite quickly up and to the right. It's nice to see. I am T. Shrewman for the Investing Bros. Let's go ahead and kick it off, starting to take a look here at Bitcoin. Guys, this live show at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are geared up here to engage with the community, with the Investing Bros. So this is really your time to come into the chat, ask questions, and yes, I have a little bit of a schedule here of news that I want to cover, but this is mostly for you guys. This is for the Eric Wallens, for the Amello Fellow. This is for Crypto AI. It's for Gia S saying, good morning, happy Monday. It is Monday, guys, and it feels good to be back in the week. Hopefully you all had a good weekend. Let me know how it was. I'd like to hear how your weekend was. We're here on the 4 hour for Bitcoin, guys, and as you can see, still under a buy rating on the 4 hour and a green trend assist. We did get a sell rating back here on Bitcoin not too long ago on November 3rd. Okay, but for the most part, I'd say that that's negated by the overall confluence of bullishness moving here in for Bitcoin. Bitcoin remains over $35,000 per coin as I'm speaking, so that's pretty nice to see as it's able to maintain this level. How much longer? We don't know. Will it break down to the downside? Will it move higher? Try to test 36.5? We shall see. So far, it has, on some exchanges you have been able to see it break through 36. On others, you haven't. Especially talking about candles closing. Here on Coinbase, you did get some movement up to 36, but it doesn't look like a candle came anywhere near close. But the wick absolutely did. Crypto AI saying, good morning, everyone. Meek Vision said, but Cardano, though. Absolutely. We're going to be taking a look at a lot of different coins today. But here we are at the 9 a.m. show where we want to get into the news. Guys, let me bring it to you. This is the economic outlook for the rest of this week. Guys, the summary here is not much from the U.S. Okay, we have the Fed speaker coming out, the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, coming out, and he's got two speeches this week, it looks like. Wednesday, November 8th, okay, he's coming out at 15 a.m., and then 3 p.m. on Thursday. Now, what I'll say is a lot of times these are not speeches where he comes out and gives some kind of address to the economy directly. Oftentimes he's being interviewed by like the Brookings Institute or the Bank for International Settlements or something like this, right? So it's not that like he's going to come out and drop some bomb on the economy. It's much more that he's being interviewed and he may say something that gives some indication. There is definitely an uptick in volatility during these speeches, but not super significantly, especially now as the jobs numbers start to weaken. The Fed does start to recede in importance. Whether or not it wants to recede, I'm not exactly sure, but if I'm Powell, I think maybe having the brand name of the Federal Reserve take a breather for a little while may work in my favor. Coming up on Friday, you do have some prints here from the EU and from Great Britain as they talk about as they learn a little bit more about how their GDP has been doing. And then also on Friday, we get the U.S. Michigan Consumer Sentiment Prequel, which is actually going to be kind of interesting because the consumer purchasing has been able to float a lot of the U.S. economy. If that starts to wane, there could be early indicators of a recession. Well, that's going to be our economic news here, guys. Honestly, not much data to print this week from the U.S. especially, but we do have those speeches from Powell at 10:15 on Wednesday and 3 p.m. on Thursday. If you're interested, you can watch those. I don't think we're planning on streaming either of those, but I am planning on checking out Grok. Well, it's not quite available to retail, not quite available to you and me just yet, but Elon Musk has debuted Grok AI bot to rival ChatGPT and others. Now, let me say, there is no coin associated with this. If you're going on any kind of swapping website, any kind of DEX to be able to buy Grok coin, you're buying a fake project. You're buying a project that is purely trying to steal your money. Don't do it. That's my public service announcement for the day. That's the PSA. But it is open to a small group of people, available to a select group of users before a wider release. Again, this is the AI being released by Elon Musk's AI company, XAI. So it's a new venture from him. And I'm sure it's going to be wildly successful, but for right now, it's still pretty much in beta. Before we leave TradFi, I want to fill you guys in on some of the big earnings coming up this week. Activision Blizzard prints today, and then next week you have some lesser names. Most of the stupendous 7 or whatever they're called, the Apples, the Amazons, the Googles of the world, those have already printed to mixed results. I think the big one probably for me was Amazon. Kind of came in the 7th inning, so to speak, and really saved the market from going lower. We'll take a look at that in just a second before we leave TradFi. But here we go. We got Lucid Group. Probably don't care. Occidental Petroleum. That's a pretty big energy name. And, the rest of these, again, you can take a look at them here. Take a look at them for yourself. But there are some names. I don't think these are going to really move the NASDAQ. Speaking of the NASDAQ, let's take a look at it here. Investors are going to be looking to probably take some profits here. This is the NASDAQ on the 4-hour. But as you can see, the trend assistant has flipped green, okay? And you got a buy rating back here on November 1st. So that was able to push the NASDAQ much higher here, up almost 5% from when that happened, from when that penetration was made through the trend assist there from the NASDAQ. But something that really sketches me out a little bit is how fast this move to the upside was. Yes, we had some overall net bullish earnings from the major 7 corporations that seem to be floating the entire economy right now, at least in the U.S. But look, this took place over a much longer period of time. This move from the trough to peak took a much longer time than this. Was only maybe a handful of bars. All right, so that worries me a little bit that this move happened too quickly, and that we're just doomed to reject here around 369 on the QQQ. This is a ETF of the NASDAQ. And so my bullishness is measured. I have stop losses in on both Google and Amazon for about 75% of my holdings in those names, because I don't want to be on board for the next move down, right? I want to have cash on the sidelines to deploy in crypto, which is much more exciting. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get into crypto. All right, so let's go ahead and start with XRP, some XRP news. But before we do, I want to kick it to the chat and see what is going on. I do see Crux of Crypto in the chat this morning, which is awesome. I think he saw the XRP thumbnail and got very excited. Saw some X's in the chat potential. So I'd love to see you, Crux, in the chat. Good to see you and hear from you. Hamad Hanasif said MBA 1936 Solana price prediction. So he wants a Solana price prediction. If we have time, I'll get to that, Hamid. I appreciate the chat. So yeah, let me know any other questions that you have, and probably I will get into that right now. Actually, let's go ahead and jump into a Solana price prediction. Now, what I will say is that I'm not the primary technical analyst for the Investing Bros, okay? But I'll give you some insights here. So taking a look at the 4-hour, we see that Solana is consolidating much higher than it was back here in October. As we left October, you got a big boost, right? As November came in, right around here, the price of Solana was moving quite a bit higher. Okay, so as you can see, Solana moving quite a bit higher here. And now the consolidation is around $40 per coin, when back here it was consolidating really around $32 per coin. So the movement higher here has me pretty bullish on Solana, and so I'm going to have a bullish bias when I'm trading it, especially considering the wider landscape of crypto. Now, I had a I wouldn't say a blow off top, because the top happened before you actually peaked candle-wise, but you had a big move here. I won't go, let's see. Yeah, let's just go from here. This movement was a 43% movement to the upside that did not close on the 4-hour, I'll point out. That was just a wick. But it did have a retracement, gave back about half of those gains, and now has consolidated at a much more reasonable rate. You will notice right around the midline of the Bollinger Band. That's the 4-hour. Let's make our price prediction back here on the weekly. Let's take a look, because price predictions, what's next for one of the most bullish cryptos in the space? What's next is going to be the next level of support. The next level of resistance. So that's really what we want to find. And just taking a look here, you can see that on the weekly chart, Solana is trading outside of that upper band of the Bollinger Bands. So it is still very bullish, right? It has a lot of potential to move higher. Let's see where the top of this wick came in back here in 2022, August, early August. You had a wick that tested up here at $48.56 per share. And you also had a wick back here that really put in that resistance for that wick to go up and test. So I'd say there's a decent amount of resistance where Solana has already wicked to at that 46 to 50 range. So when I'm talking about price predictions, I'm really looking here maybe on the next 2 weeks, right? But overall, you have to assume that Solana, a name like Solana, by the end of 2025 is going to probably put in a newer high, right? And I'm tempted to defer to my bro Tim because he's far and away much more accurate with his TA. He's done it so many more times, But what I would say is I wouldn't be too surprised at seeing Solana come back here and test its all-time high here at 260. Right, that's really where I could see Solana making a nice move to, much higher than that, and that's icing on the cake. I do think it will go higher, especially in this bull run, but I don't want to give too much of a specific number up higher. Hopefully that was some good insight there for you on Solana. Let's return to the chat and see what maybe some reactions were to that. Hamid, was that good TA for you? Let me know. All right, let's see. Crux of Crypto said throwing them up. He's talking about the X's for XRP. You gotta love it. And then good morning, everyone. Is Crypto Mini Bike? What's up, Crypto Mini Bike? Good to see you in the chat. Max PP said XRP. Crypto Mini Bike said ADA. Rory the Games Guy said XRP or ADA for a better return. Thank you. So we actually did this. We talked about this a few days ago, Tim and I, and we disagreed. So I said ADA would have better returns than XRP, but Tim said that XRP was actually going to be the one that had better returns. So it's kind of tough to call. I would say that both of these names are going to do pretty well. And overall, though, I would have to say it's probably going to be ADA that does a little bit better in this next bull run. And I'm not exactly sure why I'm flashing so much, but there you go. We're extra excited this morning. I'm pulsing with excitement, so to speak. All right, let's take a look here at some more chat. Zach Sand said, what's an honest price prediction for XRP? So we're getting a lot of requests for price predictions, which is interesting. All right, let's see. Rory the Games Guy said, I do have both, but just curious. And then C90 FTW said, ADA is about 1/4 the market cap. My play is in ADA. So that is a good point, right? ADA is a smaller market cap, and I feel like it has more going for it, right? I genuinely do. I think the XRP community is going to be disappointed. Hopefully I will not eat these words, but I have my bets hedged because I do own a decent amount of XRP, right? I could easily be wrong. They definitely are taking quite a leadership role in the institutional side of crypto investing. That's for sure. Far and away much more than Cardano. That's, Cardano is kind of the polar opposite. They're much more focused on you and me. They're much more focused on the retail and making sure that those NFTs are cheap, right? And that transaction fees are really inexpensive as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the news that's indicating why XRP is making such a move to the upside. Going to start here with Ripple, expected to shave off SEC's 770 million claims. So this is, in my opinion, the reason why XRP is seeing a big move to the upside. Let's actually take a look real quick at XRP. You can see here, XRP is having quite a big move to the upside right now. Whoa, lost it. Let's go. We're on the daily chart, and as you can see, XRP is up above the top band of the Bollinger Bands there. Very, very nice. And also, we're not seeing any kind of hints at a reversal on the MACD. In fact, we're seeing just the opposite. Right now, we're seeing those MACD lines continuing to point up and to the right at an accelerating rate. So that's pretty bullish, meaning that there may not be an end to this rally just yet for XRP. The green histogram also showing strong momentum for this run. Now, down in the MVP oscillator, you are starting to see that top band of this oscillator kind of curl down, but you also saw that back here, and it just kept pushing higher. So I would say at this point in time, I'm not anticipating a reversal quite yet in XRP. Let's go to the prime oscillator because it has some more topping predictors built into it. That'll load there for a second. And you are actually getting an oversold rating now here. A little bit of candy on the old tree, the Christmas tree here, as Tim likes to call it. So you are getting an overbought call now for XRP. So on the daily chart, let's look at a lower time frame and see if there's anything that we can pull out here. If you are trading XRP, I would say maybe taking some of the profits here might not be a bad idea. We're not able to get prime oscillator on the 4-hour. That's a little strange. Let me refresh and come back in. Let's head back over to this story here. So the Ripple expected to shave off SEC's $770 million claim. So here it is, guys. Hogan highlights that the SEC's pursuit of disgorgement aimed at recouping profits from alleged misconduct should be calculating using Ripple's net profits rather than the total revenue. This key difference should permit the deduction of business expenses from Ripple, potentially reducing the demand amount substantially. So recouping from profits, not revenue. That's big. Obviously, businesses run a much bigger revenue than they do profits almost all the time. Jeremy Hogan also adds, finally, the SEC has to prove some nexus between purchaser of XRP and the United States. In other words, if Ripple sold XRP to German investment company with no ties to the U.S., the SEC has no jurisdiction over that sale. The nexus question will be interesting. So Jeremy Hogan really throwing a wrench in the market today and sending XRP higher with both this kind of claim about the international dynamic of the XRP investors, but then also how the disgorgement process could switch from revenue to profits, which would basically, somebody's done the math, it wasn't me, but that could all equal $770 million not having to go to the SEC. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Very bullish. Obviously, whenever a company can hold on to money, the coin price is going to reflect that. All right, and then you also had this headline, which I wouldn't say is really rocking much boats for me, but it is moving around in the headlines, right? Today, it's live. It's November 6th. Swift reinvests global banking with Ripple and Stellar partnership. Okay, first of all, you kind of have a little bit of a muted response there because Stellar is mentioned in the actual headline, but there's not really any mention of anything concrete. They just kind of go into detail on existing partnerships between Swift and and XRP or Ripple and Stellar, right? But the fact that they're reminding the market that this exists is kind of interesting to note, meaning somebody is trying to boost the price of XRP and somebody has been pretty successful in that. Taking a look here at the final story for XRP, we have more stories. XRP excited. XRP Army excited as Ripple CEO set to face off against the SEC's Gary Gensler at the DC Fintech Week. Really interesting here, guys. And this is actually starting today. I don't know when they start talking or when this might happen, but the speculation is that they may actually have a duel, a face, not a violent duel, but a verbal duel. So you do have BradGarlinghouse here, and you've got Gary Gensler here. These two have been some of the most leading figures on both sides of the crypto compliance coin, right? So it could be pretty big. If they go head to head in a debate, it would be very interesting to watch. John E. Deaton said, BIS, the Bank for International Settlements, should let me moderate this event, allowing me to ask questions. I guarantee you it would get eyeballs. So John Deaton trying to get a little bit of trying to play the UFC role here, trying to say, hey, we got a fight here. Let's get the card going and let's sell some attention. I love it. Rhinoceros said exactly, T-Shroom. Take the Luddites, profits. Take the profits, I think. He corrected that to profit. That's funny. C90FTW said, my average buy price on XRP is 0.41. while my average buy for ADA is 0.58. I think both will do well for my bags. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that. I think that you've got some great entry prices there. Let's see, on XRP, if I go over to XRP, which this is Solana, but if I go over to XRP, just kind of give you an idea of where your entry price is here, 48 cents. That's real good. That was kind of at the bottom of this test after the blow off top that XRP had back here. This is the weekly chart. That's why you're not seeing so many candles. But after this blow off top on the weekly, at least, you can see there was a move lower to test lower. And you can see this was a pretty nice entry point right there. And now we're moving higher, almost back to the point where the candles closed back here on the weekly, which would put it at about 74, call it 75 cents for XRP. Approaching the top line of the Bollinger Band there on the weekly. Very nice. Good mix of TA and stories today. GS said, wow, dumb work. Made me almost miss this. Yeah. Fiat mining, man. I'll tell you what. It gets us every time. Crypto AI said, just put them in the octagon and let them work it out. Yeah. Go Elon and Zuckerberg style. Well, in that Joe Rogan episode that Elon was on recently, they talked at length about whether or not Elon was still going to fight Zuckerberg. Well, hey, Zuckerberg, it kind of seems like he's the one that backed out. So maybe Elon is the one who's gonna pull it all back together. Well, one thing you might be noticing is my NFTs in my NFT gallery here have been changed. Yes, they are updated. I've got some really good ones. I'm going to go into a little more detail on them in future episodes. But today, we've got some more stories. We're getting out of the realm of XRP, and we're going into crypto more generally. Gia S said, good morning, Crypto Mini Bike. And Kevin said ADA to $7.50. Yeah. So $7.50 would be a pretty high estimate for Cardano in my point of view. It's not a bad one. I think $8 would be kind of my extreme high for Cardano in this next bull run, meaning through 2025. Could it go higher? I think as you get much higher than $8 for Cardano, I think it's very, very unlikely. I think it's possible, but I think it gets pretty unlikely. I think you're into the hundreds of billions of dollars by that point, market cap for Cardano, and I just think that's kind of pushing it, in my opinion. All right, let's take a look here at some more news updates. Hong Kong now considers spot crypto ETF for retail investors. Hong Kong is where? China. It's not mainland China. It's kind of a special province, right? It's a special economic province there of China. But this could be pretty big news here. In January, the SFC, right? This would be a regulatory agency within Hong Kong. In January, the SFC tightened regulations by restricting retail investors from accessing crypto spot ETFs, limiting them to professional investors with portfolios of at least $8 million. Then in October, the SFC updated its rule book to allow a broader range of investors to engage in spot crypto and ETF investing, stipulating that they pass a knowledge test and meet net worth, though less than the professional investor threshold requirements. Very interesting there. The policy is updated in light of the latest market developments and inquiries from the industry seeking to further expand retail access through intermediaries to allow investors to directly deposit and withdraw their virtual assets to and from intermediaries. Gosh, this is so wordy. With appropriate safeguards. Okay, of course this is coming from a politician. This is from the SFC, said in a circular, whatever the heck that means. So thank you, CoinDesk, for not doing any kind of interpretation of this. Just kidding. CoinDesk does a great job of bringing us the news. But ultimately, what does this mean? Well, we've seen most recently kind of a up and to the right, moving in the right direction, thawing of Chinese regulation towards crypto. To date, crypto is basically not a thing if you're a mainstream thinker in China, right? If you just consider yourself, just a Chinese person living in China, you're not thinking much about private crypto, right? Now, at the fringes, you'd have to imagine that there's quite a bit of folks, especially folks who have a decent amount of money and have visited the West, perhaps, or have been exposed to kind of Western media that talks about, accumulating capital for yourself and not just working for the state, there is a lot of interest in crypto because folks want to retain that capital, retain that wealth that they've built up. And obviously, crypto is an excellent way to do that. So now we're seeing, the regulators there in Hong Kong tick thawish. They're starting to tick a little bit dovish there on crypto regulation as they are considering a spot ETF for retail investors. So that could be contributing to the XRP news, the XRP move to the upside, and that is obviously very bullish for Bitcoin. All right, guys, I have one more chart that I wanted to bring to your attention, and that is the Caspa chart, because it is moving up and to the right quite rapidly. And I also wanted to point out that Chart Prime is doing a really good job of predicting the levels here for Caspa. Really, really nice job. As you can see, as Caspa laddered up over the weekend, there was a nice, very predictable move higher, and it topped out at about 0.068. So if you're keeping track at home, this is a very significant move to the upside, and it was picked perfectly on the 4-hour by Chart Prime. You can see as soon as Chart Prime's trend assistant was pierced, it threw up a buy rating, and of course that led to then a very big move to the upside here. A 29% move you could have taken advantage of. I did, but I'm also a hodler of Caspa. Been doing a lot of research on it this weekend. Might be putting out a video on Caspa soon. And what you can see, though, this might not be the best time to buy Caspa. Although there has been a little bit of a pullback, you can see here the MACD lines are curling back even on the 4-hour, and you are seeing those green histograms wane. Okay, so this is indicating to me that Caspa is going to probably come back and test some of these lower levels. But zooming out here onto the daily chart, you can see, and Caspa is a smaller cap, guys. It's barely $1 billion in market cap. I want to make sure I'm getting that right, because I want to make sure I'm getting the market cap there. If I'm going to quote the Caspa market cap, I might as well get it right here. It says it usually. Maybe somebody in chat can shout it out, but I'll be arriving on it here shortly. Yeah, market cap 1 billion. So I was right. So it is just barely $1 billion, but as of now, it's 1.4 billion almost. So Caspa really gathering a lot of momentum here as November kicks off. But the big thing to note here is that it has broken out of an ascending wedge to the upside, right? So this is showing a lot of bullish pressure here for Caspa, because these ascending wedges usually break to the downside, meaning the price usually comes down here, and where it hit these lows, it usually breaks lower and tests lower. That's just statistics. It's not that I don't want that to happen, but that's obviously statistics. So that's something that's very interesting, showing a lot of bullish pressure here for Caspa. Now, it coincides, obviously, with the movement of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has been doing really well. And then as people take profits, they go back down and trade some of the smaller caps that they think have bullish biases, but this is only going to continue. It's looking like for Caspa. But I would expect a nice little pullback here for Caspa to come retest this support now, try to flip this resistance into support. So that would be about an 8%, as much as maybe a 10% move back if it did it today. But at some point, I expect it to come retest this and then make a move higher and ultimately try to make a move for 1 cent, right? We shall see. We shall see. I've got my Caspa bags loaded up. I've got about 25% more than I want to buy into Caspa, and then probably call it there, because I'm already well exposed to Caspa. But tell me in the comments, what do you guys think of Caspa? Do you think it's overhyped? Do you think that there's too many people that are too bullish on this name, and that you want to take the contrarian position on Caspa and actually fade it from here? Crypto AI said, thanks for the reminder. Smash the likes, guys. Absolutely. Yeah, let's get some more likes in here, guys. Let's check out the ratio. We've got 71 people watching. That's pretty good. And then 36 likes. So let's go ahead and get those likes higher, guys. I would really appreciate it. If you're getting any kind of value or any kind of entertainment from this video, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. XRP Yes. Yes, Gia. XRP is making a move higher. She said, wow, look at XRP go. Yes, it's very exciting to see. Now, XRP, again, very exciting to see it take a move higher here back towards the moon. It has been in a long, like little micro bear market ever since it had went up and tested that 95 cent mark. It has been it realized a 54% take back of those gains, even lower than where it started. Now, what sent this off? Well, it was the Ripple v SEC case, right? When they won that, this move kicked off, and it was about a 100% move to the upside. Honestly, not that much. A lot of XRP Army members were underwhelmed. Okay, but then, of course, what goes up must come down, and because Bitcoin didn't really correlate with that move, and it didn't shock the market, to go buy, it made a move back down lower. But now we're starting to see that the bottom may be in for XRP, at least in this move, right? And personally, I think here, let me zoom out and give my perspective. If the bull market continues for crypto generally that we're seeing, I don't think that XRP will go back below 50 cents from here. I think it could also be debatable whether it goes back below 55 cents from here. I think we could have seen, the best entry points behind us for XRP. And so, but that is contingent on the greater crypto market continuing to play ball, which is a very fickle market. Got a couple more comments here I'll read. Definitely getting more valuetainment, said Crypto AI. Really appreciate that. Servando Estrada said XRP. So he's excited about the big coin there for XRP. ADA says, that's awesome to see CTV behind you. Yes, absolutely. I've got some new NFTs in my studio here in the gallery, and it's been really awesome to have them in here. This one behind me is actually my NFT. Yes, I purchased an NFT. I believe it was about $12 in Cardano, so it's been well worth it. It gave me access to a drip for a lot of other coins in Cardano, and it's a lot of fun to take a look at there. It's called Vault, the Vault. Maybe ADA Ace, maybe you could specify or give some links to that project down here in the chat and in the comment of the video. Actually, that would be super helpful. C90FTW said, CAS is hype to the point I think it will pump regardless of any tokenomics. Okay, that's an interesting take. I do tend to agree with that take. Not financial advice. Crypto Paradox said, Uphold buying their shares. They only 3.5 at the moment. Yes, Uphold. So are you saying Uphold is a public company buying their shares? I don't know that I'd be surprised. Let me take a look here. Uphold. Yeah, so I'll have to do a little bit more research on that. I'm not exactly sure what you mean there, Crypto Paradox. But if Uphold is a crypto wallet, if it's public, that'd be kind of crazy. Might be something to take a look at. Speaking of Uphold, though, you gave me a good opportunity there, Crypto Paradox, to go ahead and talk about our description. So we've got a lot of good links in our description as I wrap up this video. You've got Chart Prime, 45% off. You saw that Chart Prime predicted almost perfectly this breakout for Caspa down on the 4-hour. As you can see here, let's let it load. You can see it picked it out perfectly. Put a buy rating on November 3rd, and it had that confluence with the green trend assistant on the next bar. So if you're trading purely on the confluence of the buy ratings and the trend assistant lines, then you would have gotten a really good entry. Now, it's going to be quite a while before this pierces back through the trend assistant to flip it into a potential buy rating, right? That's going to be a 10% correction. So you may have to figure out when you want to exit Caspa on your own. But it all kind of comes back to this one right here, guys, which is the 45% discount for that indicator I just showed you. You just click this link, follow it, sign up, and you're going to have a ton of fun. And you also help support the channel, and this is the best discount on the market for that indicator. Uphold, you can buy Caspa on Uphold, and it helps out the channel. I believe we get a kickback on trading fees or something like that, which is pretty cool. That does help us out. And there's some more links down there as well. Those help us out. Those support the channel. As we wrap up here, ADA said there's a Discord for CTV. Absolutely. So CTV is the Discord you want to take a look at to try to get plugged into this NFT back here behind me. That is a vault. Super cool. Thomas L said, in my opinion, GameFi tokens are going to be huge this bull. Absolutely. I think we're probably exhausting our time here, but I have a decent amount of degen gaming coins, meaning microcap gaming coins. That's kind of some people like to buy NFTs. I like to buy, smaller cap coins. That's what I feel comfortable buying. Jessica Moore said, Uphold, I believe, owns $1 billion worth of XRP. I wouldn't be surprised because for a long time, Uphold was the only place that you could buy XRP in the United States without a VPN. Crypto Paradox said, nice, Jessica. Yeah, absolutely. So we've had a lot of fun here, guys. We're going to be live today. It is Monday, so we'll be live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. We're going to have a ton of fun. If you're watching on Twitter, on x.com, leave us a like there and tell us what you thought of the video. Did you hate it? Did you love it? Did you want more? Or did you unfollow because of this video? Let me know down there in the comments on X. We love to have you watching and listening along. And if you're watching on YouTube, obviously hit the likes on the way out and consider subscribing. Guys, it's been a real pleasure. Bros, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll catch you this afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Tim and I will go live and talk about how these stories that I've covered so far are developing and how the market is digesting them. See you then.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News, got your word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.